Now let's set up a settings menu, and in that we'll put a switch button that can turn the dark theme on and off. In Pages, I will create a new Dart file, Settings, and now create a new stateful widget named Settings. And in the main, I'm going to temporarily reroute this application to the settings page, just so we can see our settings being built easily. Now in the settings page, I will replace the container with a scaffold, and that'll give us access to an app bar. I will set a title. I'll name this Settings. I'll center that title, center title true. Let's remove the shadow under the app bar, so elevation, set that to 0. Now let's create an exit button. So in the app bar, I can select actions and key in a list of actions. So here I'll use an icon button. It has an on pressed, and also we can choose an icon. So use the icon widget, and then in here I can just type icons dot, and we'll select the clear icon. Let's see how that looks. Okay, cool, so we have an exit button. Now let's fill out this on pressed, so when this button is tapped, let's pop off the screen. To do that, I can use the navigator class, which will navigate between different screens, and I can use maybe pop, which will pop off the screen if we can, and then we'll just be left with the main screen. Now let's create our body. So body, and use column to stack our widgets on top of each other. Then in here, let's create a switch list tile, and this has a value and an on change property. So to get the switch working, we need to manage the state with a local variable and then call setState to update that. So let's create a variable up here of type bool. I'll name this isSwitched, and let's set that to false initially. So this will represent the state of our switch button, and firstly we'll pass that in, isSwitched, and this is our callback. And in here, this onChanged is a callback which will notify us when the switch has been changed, and this value will represent that change. However, we need to call setState and actually rebuild this widget with a new value passed in. So for example, if we run this without calling setState, let's have a look. We'll do a hot restart. Okay, so it starts off as false. We turn it on, it's just going to go back to false. And let's also put in the value. Let's try that again. So the value is true, but it's going to go back to false. So we need to update this value. To do that, let's call setState, which will run the build method again. And isSwitched will now be equal to this new value. And then we'll call setState, so this will rerun and that value will be passed in. So now let's remove that. I'll write a print function down here and write isSwitched. Okay, let's run this. IsSwitched true, IsSwitched false. In the next video, we'll link up the light and dark theme with the SwitchListTile.